Hello, I'm Laura Perryman. I'm here in London today talking to you a little bit about colour dimensions, the fabulous new project by Fedrigoni. I've been working alongside them for the past few months, helping them bring this beautiful vision of colour together. I work as a colour, material and finish designer, and I work in a very materials-led way. I hope I can bring some insight into why you should use coloured paper more in your projects throughout this presentation. I'm going to talk a little bit about how colour, paper and texture are incredibly important parts of any design process, especially when we think about the future of design. Their growing importance is incredibly important for how we move forward in design, and also how visual and tactile experiences now are incredibly key for how we create tailored experiences from a brand perspective as well as a sensory perspective as well. Colour, materials and tactility are really at the heart of my creative thinking. I work as a futures consultant as well as a colour material specialist in the design sectors and design industries. I also work as an educator. I believe that colour is one of the biggest creative and emotional tools that we have. I wrote a book also called The Colour Bible, which is out now. It's in 7 languages, 100 colours in art and design. And I have an agency which is called Colour of Saying, which is just dedicated to helping brands and companies really refine the right and most relevant choices for colours and materials. The studio today is full of beautiful materials and colours which are both sensory, engaging, visual, but also have environmental and sustainable responsibility. We design with these colours and materials with the brand experiences that we create, and the colours and materials really breathe life into lots of the design ideas and concepts that we bring to industry. We really look at promoting a much more futures mindset, one that's balanced, material driven, and we know that this can really make an incredibly big difference for the brands and services and products that we all digest and are going to be available tomorrow. Colour and tactility really are an implicit sensory tool, which I'd encourage you all to use. Paper, of course, is an amazing core material. It's a vehicle of so much. It can convey craft, sensory, stimulus, luxury. It's really an amazing emotional and visual product. I have had the amazing opportunity to be able to work with Fedrigoni's paper ranges, and there really is so much emotion and so many visual identities within the ranges that it really spoke to me to organise them in a slightly different way to make it much more accessible for creative industries. A bit behind the colour theory in Colour Dimensions was taken inspiration from an age-old colour tool that we all might be familiar with, the colour wheel. The colour wheel is an incredible creative tool. It enables us to organise, view and navigate colour in very kind of easy to read ways. So we were inspired to reorder the whole Fedrigoni portfolio through this systematic approach, going through the key colour areas for creatives, through artists and through the creative community to give a viewpoint on colour. So here we can see light to dark hue areas represented that are key for creative projects, such as yellows, oranges, pinks, blues, blacks and whites and creams as well. You know, Fedrigoni's colour wheel is very much aligned to the luxury industry and creative industries as well. However, we were inspired by the original colour wheel. Moses Harris's one of the first colour wheels that was ever created, showed colour through hue areas, through this prismatic organisation, reds to yellows, cools into greens, blues and purples. And it helps us as humans, it helps us perceive these colour areas, select them. And so within colour dimensions, each 5 category has a new colour order, one that represents the original colour wheel thinking, enabling creatives, designers, viewers of the tool to be able to go through and select from light to dark through chromatic areas within each aesthetic category. Is perfect for easier navigation and selection of colour. Today, lots of things are now weighing in on how we define a luxury surface. Of course, paper, tactility, surface finish, quality, materiality, all start to convey completely different, varying visual messages. And today's world, it's really important that we are able to harness those and curate them to create better experiences. Paper is an amazing material. It's an experience. It has the power to transform many different design experiences. It's not just a material of support for packaging or labelling, for instance, or card just literally to tell a bland message. The very intrinsic qualities of paper, the tactility, the base material, the ability to reflect colour, can really convey a brand ethos, not just a value, but an entire feeling of a brand just through one particular colour or one particular texture. This is incredibly important as we think about building brand voice and becoming a bigger and more confident voice maybe within a particular project or a particular application. And so the colour of your paper or the texture of your paper is incredibly important to what you want to convey. Part of this project was looking really about how individual papers, individual aesthetics can convey very, very important brand ethos or brand values. Blues, for instance, here you can see on the right, incredibly elegant colours. And as soon as we start to put them together and create a persona, we instantly create this feeling or this mood. Similarly, if we have a particular expression such as playfulness or brand joy, for instance, switching colours over to match this ethos is one of the most simplest and quickest ways of visually conveying the mood or the brand expression. And here you can see bright colours really coming together to really show off that playful mood and direction. Equally, texture and finish convey craft in a sensory way that we perceive without even words or language. By running our finger across a piece of paper, understanding its tactile value, we are accepting its high quality immediately. So the craftsmanship, the texture, the finish all contribute to how much quality we really think this particular material has. Paper has all of these things in it. It has this ability to garner our senses, tactile, the ability to bring beautiful colour right to the vision, right to the moment of interaction, and it has so many beautiful possibilities to go even further. Today, choices about papers, choices about recyclability and sustainability are now at the forefront. We are now seeing an acute environmental need driven by lots of industries. The creative industries is taking that also through into projects. Sustainability is now an important factor, if not the top factor of any design brief. Innovating with paper is incredibly important, but also so is innovating with sustainability and the sensory needs of those experiences. So helping Fedrigoni put all of their circular, recyclable materials together is an important aesthetic direction, not just a functional one. The reason why this is because ecological credentials also come along with ecological sustainability aesthetics. Mature pastels, crafted midtones, and hybrid hues are really the expressions of a new sustainable future. Sustainability and innovation in paper are not going anywhere. Having a material first mindset is incredibly important to how we understand the nature of a life cycle of a product, from the sourcing to the manufacturing to the disposal and end of life of that product. Paper is a really great creative tool to be able to go along that ecological journey with. What we have as creatives is the challenge to build a better sensory and sustainable choices within the projects that we have. Of course, across the whole of Colour Dimensions, ecological credentials and recyclability of paper is implicit across all 5 category areas, including smooth colour, full blacks, textured and shimmer. You can still find those choices. They can still be aesthetic and responsible at the same time. Today, Colour Dimensions is the new way of organising the Fedrigoni paper portfolio through CMF, so through colour, material and finish, texture and surface. Papers, through their colouring, are organised in a much more easy and understandable way. It enables luxury brand owners and designers to curate their own combinations and own brand aesthetic in line with, again, extremely important topic matters such as circularity, texture and colour. We have a new way of organising those, again, maybe not through necessarily ranges, but through incredibly and key aesthetic qualities. As I explained before, circular colour lives at the heart of this responsible palette, but there's also smooth colour, a home for incredibly bold colour, reflective shimmer, beautiful ephemeral and majestic shimmery colours and metallics, textured colour, that home of high craft luxury experience through tactility, embossing, surface finishing, and beautiful irregular surface qualities. Full blacks, an essential guide to one of the most key colours in the spectrum, and also the compass, an incredible resource of inspiration and next directions for colour, material and finish. To aid the selection process for your projects, each aesthetic family in the Colour Dimensions tool has been introduced with keywords. These keywords are CMF words, they're visual words, they're tactile words, they're aesthetic words. They help describe some of the essential aesthetics that are within these collections now. These keywords could be incredibly important to your brand already, or they could be part of briefs that you're already working on. Vibrant colours, bold brights, crafted midtones, all describe different varying aesthetics of papers. Paper choice and finishing enhance visual impact on products. By changing them, by curating them, we create different experiences. And so within Colour Dimensions, each aesthetic family really does lead a different aesthetic experience. And it's important that we consider the types of aesthetic experience that we might want to portray or give to our clients in our projects. Reflective Shimmer is an incredibly majestic and beautiful collection of metallic papers and finishes. They really are alluring and have very high luxury value. Textured colour, on the other hand, earthy, patterned, embossed, expressive, bold, but also incredibly natural. There's a vast range of choice available even within these aesthetic groups. But what's important is they both can enhance different experiences. Lighter, reflective, more ephemeral experiences, or something that's deeply connective sensory-wise with textured paper. Another key, incredibly hero colour area and aesthetic category is smooth colour. Bold, vibrant, creative, full of chroma and colour. Its emotional value and its aesthetic value cannot be matched across lots of other areas of expression. It's important for brands that want to have a bold, playful, joyful, stand out and eye-catching persona and identity, and matched with emotional value. It creates a really important aesthetic group area for colour dimensions and creatives to play with. I hope I've been able to inspire you today to take a different approach to creative projects with paper, really thinking about how paper can be an extremely celebratory, sensory and emotional tool. We can craft so many possibilities with paper. It really is an endless material of inspiration, and I hope that you're able to find some unique colours, materials and textures today in order to create a completely different sensory approach. So that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the inspiration and the insight behind the new Colour Dimensions collection. I hope that you now have the opportunity to get your hands on some of the wonderful papers and explore their sensorial and tactile qualities. Thank you so much for listening to me, and hope you have a great rest of the event. Goodbye.